things, every revolution or every political movement or any kind of change, and having someone, okay, CIA, which is fucking for you to call me CIA when you know I'm not.
Everything was politicized. It was, oh, this is when we became the left versus the right. But both sides are trash. In COVID,
his own thing. So it seems to be that money's the issue, that like we're using money and that's how politics is being pushed. Because now we've seen what someone does when they use their own money and it doesn't seem to be a solution. So I feel like we take money out of politics, we'll have a much better political system.
Politician, you think they're gonna come out and tell me the truth? They was lying to my mama. They ain't gonna never tell us.
So everybody, we look at certain things just because, oh, this happens in the hood or we see this every day. All the way up. These people were speaking truth. King, we could talk X, we could talk it all. They were speaking truth.
What's going on in anyone's mind, but let's take it as a given that Gray's argument is true, that the argument to not have ID is that it would be discriminatory versus certain socioeconomic brackets or something. It's like
the world's greatest trial run of what people will do and what people won't do. And we are the only country on the planet that really fought against the government. A lot of it,
because you focus on 80-20 issues. I'm looking at the Epstein issue as we have 80% of the information we need to prosecute these people that actually did anything, but you're focusing on the 20% trying to take down Donald Trump, which you're never going to get. So I'm going to keep sitting here with a smug ass face on every single day.
I'll explain. Good question. I'll give you the answer. The Republican Party constantly talks about transgenders and transgender surgery to minors.
I'm mostly on the left ideologically, but I don't associate with the Democrats because they're not ideologically on the left. The Democrats are clowns, and they're also losers.
About to be any engaging conversation. It's not about to be any discourse about different political ideologies, what works and what doesn't. If that is the outcome, right? For example, I'm not gonna go and just put myself in the middle of a KKK rally.
Verify me, I'm not a fucking Fed. They always do this. I'll say this, right? And they did the same thing to Nick. We've seen the video. They'll call people who are genuine and authentic Feds because
the interesting thing to me is that the ones that claim that they believe the Constitution are now trampling the Constitution. The ones that said they believed in the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, right, are now going against the freedom of speech. The ones that
So to see and hear this strong, compelling speech with emotion, I think that's extremely important for young men to see from a leadership perspective.
Y'all have no plan. They'll never talk about nothing positive about the Democrat Party. Everything is just anti-Trump. They're not willing to have a conversation. They call us fascists. We willing to have a conversation. Charlie Kirk's willing to have a conversation.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Kamal.
I'm Kim.
I'm Skeptic.
Hi, I'm Enzo.
And tonight on the new party, we have a jam-packed night. We have a nice panel. Enzo's alone on the right. I might have to jump in. I usually don't get my opinion, y'all, but you know, it's a smaller panel tonight, so I will be speaking more to have a balance. But Guys, make sure if you're watching, you smash that like button. Thank you to everyone for watching. Thank you to Big Timmy, Savage, Tyler, Log, JJ Freeman, Ocean. So welcome to the panel tonight, guys. We appreciate you for being here. We are accepting super chats, so make sure you send them in. And we are accepting memberships. If you become a member today, you can have access to our emojis as well as our member only live stream. Tomorrow night, we will be doing a live stream at 9 p.m. The ladies of the new party. So make sure you come check it out. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about Clinton and what she had to say. So Clinton was at I guess a panel this week or something. And it was regarding how people are responding to anti-Semitism. And this is what she had to say that everyone is talking about. Let me pull it up. Here we go.
Smart, well-educated young people from our own country, from around the world, where were they getting their information? They were getting their information from social media, particularly TikTok. That is where they were learning about what happened on October 7th, what happened in the days, weeks, and months to follow. That's a serious problem. It's a serious problem for democracy, whether it's Israel or the United States, and it's a serious problem for our young people. And it was frankly shocking to me how little the students we were encountering, not only in this class we teach, which is a very large class, international relations about crisis decision making, but students more generally. And that's why I mentioned the social media piece of it, because when you would try to talk to them to engage in some kind of reasonable discussion, it was very difficult because they did not know history, they had very little context, and what they were being told on social media was not just one-sided, it was pure propaganda. And so when you think about how to tell Israel's story, and it's important, it's not just looking internally, it's looking externally, and particularly looking at young people, because, it's not just the usual suspects. It is a lot of young Jewish Americans who don't know the history and don't understand. I was talking to Condi Rice, and, she said in an interview that I did after the 20-point plan came out, she and I were on CBS, and she said, when people were chanting from the river to the sea, she would ask the students what river, what sea they didn't know. I had the same experience. A lot of the challenge is with younger people. More than 50% of young people in America get their news from social media. So just pause on that for a second. They are seeing short form videos, some of them totally made up, some of them not at all representing what they claim to be showing, and that's where they get their information.
So Kamal, you've been at this, I think, the longest out of everyone, so got to give respect where it's due. Do you think TikTok is to blame for all the anti-Semitism or any hateful rhetoric for that matter? What do you think?
Short answer, no, but I ain't gonna lie. After hearing Hillary Clinton speak for 2 minutes, I see why Bill Clinton went and got hit by Monica Lewinsky. God damn, this woman is fucking Jesus Christ, man. It's like watching paint dry on a goddamn wall. Jesus Christ. And no, it's not TikTok. It's that we can fucking look up shit. We got Google, Perplexity, ChatGPT. You can't just tell us some shit and be like, yeah, this is what the history says. Motherfuckers gonna be like, well, the history said that's wrong right there. So, I mean, you feel me? Did she forget her emails? Hilarious. Nah, but I'm telling you, we can look up stuff now. So you can't hit us with the bull job. So that's what it is. She could blame TikTok if she want. You feel me? But that's not why young Americans is not listening to what they got to push or whatever. We could Google shit now. We could Perplexity. We got our own devices to look up stuff and not have to just take your word for it.
Well, the other thing that was big this week is the person that's been crashing out regarding anti-Semitism has been someone that's new to the right. Jillian Michaels, she's a trainer, and she interviewed Don Jr. And this is what they talked about. And this is what he had to say about Nick Fuentes. But before we get to that, we do have a super chat by Timmy. He said, did Hillary send emails again? So they're still talking about the emails on the right. I'm sure Skeptic will respond later. But this next clip, I'm going to have Kimberly respond to. So here we go. This is what she had to say about anti-Semitism, talking and disavowing anti-Semites.
See some of the things in the alt-right fringe of the Nick Fuentes and the Young Republican group chat that is racist and that is scary and sexist to an alarming degree with someone like Nick Fuentes. And I'm wondering, you're seeing this kind of fracture of the left. I'm seeing people who are more moderate become alarmed. And people on the right are like, yeah, whatever, not a big deal. I'm here to tell you it's a big deal. And I think it's a big deal because all of those people that your dad invited in, Tulsi, Kennedy, myself, inadvertently, right? All of these more, Rogan, all of these more moderate people who flee the crazy on the left are alarmed if the right doesn't disavow the Nick Fuenteses. And it doesn't mean, I'm not saying cancel Tucker Carlson. That is not what I'm saying. I wish Tucker had handled him differently. I have no problem saying that. But I do think it's going to be a problem. And I'm wondering if you see it as a problem for the right in the midterms and in 2028. Because I think if this continues without it being fully condemned aggressively, I think you get Gavin Newsom for president. And I know what that looks like. And it's scary stuff.
Yeah, listen, I'm a little torn on the issue. I think sometimes, having been canceled and having, for even common sense things, I'm not about cancel culture, but I think sometimes, I don't know that you have to platform everyone, but, let them sort of speak. And I think some of those radicals, they sort of give themselves up in many cases in their own things. And I'm good friends with Tucker, and I actually don't think he's really all that radical at all. I think I do see a lot of stuff that's sort of manufactured crises. I see a lot of sort of the neocon handles trying to create these conflicts to break it up because they want to go back to the old ways, not the America First ways. I do think that sort of social media and the way those things have been manipulated, and some of these, the stuff you're seeing even this week with, this account that's, America First is, driven out of, some country in the middle of nowhere. It's like they're actually trying to sow discord and create a fight that probably really doesn't exist with the vast majority of people. I think, again, I'm sort of a free speech absolutist, but that doesn't mean there's not consequences to that speech. And if you hear some people speak and you don't like, it's like, man, I sort of feel like they almost cancel themselves, and not with censorship, but by people being like, okay, that's not even a reasonable position. We're just not going to listen to this person anymore. And so I do think that's important because, again, I've seen what they try to do to so many people. I was one of the early guys calling out a lot of the censorship on Twitter. And they're like, well, how do you know? I was like, well, I know because yesterday I was getting 5,000 retweets a post. Today I'm getting 3. Not 3,000, 3, like single digits 3. Like that's something happened, something changed. And so, I think we have to have conversations, even conversation we don't want to hear, or even conversations we think may be disgusting, and listen. And then people will make up their own minds, and they'll sort of, the way I look at it, you kind of vote with your wallet. You walk away from that and you figure it out on your own.
I'm just deeply concerned that if there's a guy who says women want to be raped and somebody does not say, this is not who we are as a party, this is not conservatism, we find him repulsive. I'm telling you, it's
but I also think sometimes even acknowledging what you do, if you're going to acknowledge every person that says something ridiculous, all of a sudden you're just making them bigger in a way. Sometimes you just got to let the idiocy just go out there in the ether, and you can't respond to everything, right? Because it just becomes like clickbait, troll-worthy stuff, and everyone starts doing it, and everyone then starts taking their own bait, and and that's sort of what I was alluding to earlier with like some of the stuff going on right now. It's like everyone's just trying to like out radicalize themselves for clicks and this, and it's a bit nuts. And I don't think we do that as well at the left. The left sort of has their talking points, and they generally speaking stick to them, even if I disagree with them vehemently. We're a little different in that we are a lot more open. We do have a lot more different,
Oh, Lord, I couldn't take it anymore. So Kimberly, she's trying to force his hand to denounce Nick. I know you don't like Nick, but I know some things he says you can kind of like see the middle on, because we talked about it.
Yes.
What do you think about the conversation you just heard, and do you think that he should have denounced him?
It was so hard listening to him. Mr. Junior, please blink twice if you're okay. Like, what's going on? He's incoherent, but you could tell he was like trying to like walk around a very simple question. I think that's part of the reason why there are a lot of people being drawn towards two reasons towards like a Nick Fuentes, right? One, they won't completely embrace or denounce him, right? Because they want to leave that open towards, bringing people in to the Republican Party, right? Because then they'd lose a lot of people. Because Nick Fuentes does speak to a lot of the younger generation. There's a lot of unrest, right? And because of the split in the Republican Party. Two, censorship. They're talking about free speech absolutism, but the reason why you're getting a lot of hate towards, I think I will say a lot of it is not correctly addressed towards the problem with the Israeli government. But when you try censoring speech, then people will start thinking it's, Israel or Israelis or Jewish people, right? So when you're simultaneously censoring people, which is what the Trump administration is doing, and the Biden administration did too with regards to Israel, but also at the same time, you don't have like a coherent message. There's nobody really that's like outside of Nick Fuentes that's making a really good case against Israel without all the hateful stuff that's that big. So my homie Junior could help himself by preparing for an interview before he goes on an interview. He's completely not making any sense. And then second, answer a question. Just be straight up. Because then when you do this, the little walk around, then people are going to talk shit. And then don't say you're a free speech absolutist when your dad's censoring and attacking all these free speech liberties. So you can't have it both ways. Pick one. Pick one side.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I agree because yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on. I'm gonna let Enzo go next. This is Jake Lang, and this is what he had to say about everything.
Have a planned march coming up against AIPAC. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. Yes, because AIPAC is tearing at the fabric of our country. We have a massive split in MAGA over this, and it's just time to declare America first, America only. And if it's really going to drudge down our movement so much with people arguing over it and, all of the foreign influence, if you look at all these congressmen, $8,000 from AIPAC, $40,000, like, and then I saw some of the Stu Peters Network interviewers go, like Frankie Stocks, go in front of these different politicians and say, are you for America first or Israel first? And then they don't answer, they decline to answer, and then boom, it shows how much money AIPAC's donated to them. I think that's disgusting, and I don't want those congressmen and politicians to receive that money. I don't want the foreign influence here.
So Enzo, I know you know about Jake Lang, so I played it for you in particular because, he's now saying he's going against AIPAC. Like, do you think that he's pandering? And I had to play the clip with the photo in the background because those of you who don't know, Jake Lang, that's a real photo of him. He went to Israel, he kissed the wall, which he's entitled to do. But he's of Jewish descent, and now he's going against the biggest Jewish lobbying organization in America. So, do you agree with this, or do you think that his hands being forced because of the direction that the youth are going in?
I don't think his hands being forced. I really think that Jake Lang is some type of psyop. I mean, that's to be debated on everything that this guy has done. Maybe more pandering towards his run for congressional office as well. Nobody really ever touches on that either. I personally think Jake Lang is a clown. You're somebody of Jewish descent, and you're literally hand in hand with actual Yazidis, which is just hilarious to me. Like, so what are we really doing here? Are you for your people, or are you for the Yazidis? Like, which one is it? But that's regardless. My whole thing with AIPAC is like, yes, you can have your criticisms about AIPAC and their funding, American funding, or Congress members getting paid for whatever lobbying groups there is. There are plenty of lobbying groups out there that are a lot worse than AIPAC, and nobody seems to want to focus on those. I personally think, and I still hold that same argument, that all lobbying should be taken out of government altogether. But I'm really just on the side of, I don't even want to say anything about AIPAC anymore, because I don't want people to think that I'm a part of Nick Fuentes and his little group, because I think it's literally just internalized Nazism, and they're just finding the easiest way to say they hate Jews now by saying, oh, we want AIPAC out. That's the easiest way for me to look at this and be like, that's really what's going on. Like, the face of all this shit is Nick Fuentes. Like, come on now. Are we really going to question any of this and question where this is really coming from? Is this really about AIPAC, or is this really about just going against his the Jewish heritage itself? So,
Well, we'll get to that. But I agree with you, Enzo. It does become it's a thin line, and it gets crossed a lot now. But Skeptic, this one's for you. This is Anna Kasparian. She's pretty big on the left. Well, she's pretty moderate. You know, she's fair. And this was Gavin Newsom, and this is what he had to say.
Vote for a candidate that takes $1 from AIPAC. It's interesting. It's interesting. I haven't thought about AIPAC. It's interesting. Which is interesting. Okay. Which is just interesting. Listen, it's interesting you say that. Fair enough. Which is just interesting. What's interesting about it? That it's just interesting as you bring up AIPAC.
Is it interesting? Okay, that was California Governor Gavin Newsom malfunctioning as he was being asked a question that he didn't expect and didn't really seem prepared to answer. Now, Newsom malfunctioned and said the word interesting a total of 8 times after he was confronted on the topic of AIPAC and the Israel lobby. Just to give you a little bit of background, Democratic voters have really soured on the issue of Israel. Okay, they are not supportive of what Israel has been carrying out in Gaza, in the West Bank, and much of the Middle East, to be quite frank, and have now been paying closer attention to whether the politicians they've been favorable toward are being funded by the Israel lobby. And so Democratic lawmakers, state and local leaders, you're now on notice. If you're taking AIPAC money, you're going to be asked about it.
So, Skeptic, what do you think about Gavin Newsom's response? Do you think it'll help or hurt him, or won't make a difference come 2028 if he runs?
I mean, if it's interesting because he's receiving money, then it's going to hurt him. If it's interesting because he doesn't know or he didn't want to answer and there's something that's going to come out like that associates him with it, then yeah, it's going to negatively affect him. I think that the Democratic Party is going to have to take a strong stance on this, because I think that Democrats have taken a strong stance on it, and we don't want the money to go to Israel anymore. We don't want to fund what's going on, which is the unaliving of mass people, genocide, literally, of children, of adults, and like, we shouldn't have our hand in this. We should be helping Gaza. Like, we should stand firmly against it. So I do think that the Democratic Party is going to, anyone who's going to run moving forward, particularly for presidency, is going to have to stand strong against it. Sorry, y'all.
Uh-oh. So yeah, she's pretty much saying that she feels like the future of the Democrats are going to have to stand strong against it. And Timmy brings up a good point, is at least we agree on this. Yeah, and I do think, listen, it's a thin line between anti-Semitism, right? And it's a very, very thin line. But I think people are, and I'm not even going to say this just towards Israel, I think people are sick of foreign lobbies in general. Israel, Qatar, China, Russia. We have a lot of foreign entities, and it's not just Israel. Again, I'm going to say that because I want to make that clear. Reason why I'm bringing this up is because this was a trending story. And this year, this whole thing has been trending, unfortunately. But we're going to switch gears here, guys. We're going to go on to the next topic, Trump and Venezuela. Can Trump legally close Venezuela airspace? I'm sure Skeptic and Kimberly, they are fired up about this topic. It's about their Latinos over there in South America. I'm just kidding. But I know Skeptic is really invested in this topic. So, but this is trending as well. So we're going to get into it. We're going to kick it off, play the first clip. So Trump made headlines. Trump said he is going to close off this airspace. So the question is, can he legally do it? Let's see what Trump said recently about what's going on with the drug boats.
Boat strikes, if it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging on to that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war.
that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
So to be clear, you support the decision to kill survivors after the initial
No, I
strike?
support the decision to knock out the boats. And whoever is piloting those boats, most of them are gone. But whoever are piloting those boats, they're guilty of trying to kill people in our country. Yeah, please.
The House Judiciary Committee has subpoenaed Jack Smith to ask about his investigation of you. I wondered, for a deposition, I wondered if you'd prefer to see that as a hearing so that the American public can see the questions and the responses more easily.
I'd rather see it probably at a hearing. Look, Jack Smith is a thug. He's a failed prosecutor. He's a bad man. He's an evil man. He hurt a lot of people. Forget about me. You know, I do this stuff, but I got indicted many times by a guy that they were dismissed. He's a bad guy. He's a sick man. There's something wrong with him, actually. I think Jack Smith is a sick man. There's something really wrong with him. I'd rather see him testify publicly because there's no way he can answer the questions. But Biden knew this was going along. Kamala knew it was going along. And there's a lot of things happening right now that they don't like. One of the things is the auto pen. Everything he signed, almost, with the exception of the pardon of his wonderful son, Hunter, just about everything he signed was not signed by him. He had no knowledge of it. He didn't know what it was. People sitting around the beautiful Resolute desk knew exactly what it was. And those people are guilty, in my opinion, of a major crime. Everything that was signed by that auto pen, the man operating the auto pen, and I'm sure there are more than one because I think some of the people can operate it themselves. Some of the high-level people operated themselves. They would just go in and sign his name with an auto pen onto very important documents, not only pardons, but policy, maybe CAFE standards, okay, as an example. Who signed CAFE? If you ask Biden, what's a CAFE standard, he would have absolutely no idea. He'd say, where is the CAFE located?
Okay, skeptic, you ready or no? Oh, she's gone. I was going to have her go first because I know she's passionate about this one. I'm going to have Kamal go. Kamal. This is a good point that Oshan brings up. What about the Americans helping bring it in? They aren't doing this on their own. What do you think about that question?
That's a good question, but man, at the end of the day, I gotta agree with Enzo, bro. We lost the war on drugs, man. Okay, we took the L, man. We saw the one dude; he was clearly on the drugs earlier. Bro, is on something. Come on, we losing at this, bro. Like, you feel me?
Maybe that's why Trump is so passionate about this. Like, come on, Enzo. No shade.
Trump has been against drugs his entire life. Like, he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't do anything.
I know, but like, I really like Don Jr. I really do, but bro was high. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. And he lost his brother. He lost his brother because of drugs too.
That shit crazy, man. But yeah, that is a great question. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump is America first. Why would he focus on the Americans bringing the drugs in? He most definitely gonna focus on the foreigners bringing the drugs in, right? I'm just surprised he said he know the routes and shit. I'm like, hold on, Donald Trump, bro, you giving yourself up too much, bro. You probably in on it a little bit. He said we know the routes on land, sea, air. I'm like, hey, do your thing, big dog. You feel me? But like I said, I agree with Enzo. We done took the L on the war on drugs, bro. It's over. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
I want to say really quickly, Donald Trump right there, he looks like he needs a nap. My homie needs a nap.
He's running the country.
The man does.
Yeah,
We agree.
I mean, honestly, yeah, it's a very stressful job, and no matter who does it. All right, we're gonna play this next clip. I'm gonna have Skeptic respond. Here we go.
As somebody who has personally lost 3 of my best friends to drug overdoses and has been sober for the last 10 years, when I hear stuff like this, your president has appointed a man to run your military that is going to target narcos, cartels that are flooding your country with fentanyl and other drugs. That to me sounds like the type of president that I voted for. However, if you are one of the severely, morally, and likely mentally challenged individuals still on the quote-unquote progressive left, you see the targeting of these narcos as a negative. Now, y'all claim to care so much about folks who are strung out in the streets, right? Our homeless population, many of which are on some type of narcotic. Imagine having a government who cared enough to at least do something about the problem and then getting mad at them for doing something about the problem. Make it make sense.
You know, okay, Skeptic. God, I hate to have to bring race into this, but I'm gonna have to. There are thousands of Black and brown men incarcerated that weren't properly. And again, I'm not trying to make this Black thing come off before you jump down my throat. I'm trying to get to the point though. That weren't properly, you know, they were wrongly convicted. Let's say that. So to hear him say this, and we don't know for sure what's going on with those boats. Skeptic, what do you think? Can you explain to him, why are you so against the boats being blown up? Why are you supporting cartels? According to him, that's what you're doing by being against it.
So I want to start off by saying that it's this administration that is defunding healthcare for those that are addicted and have issues and are going to these rehabilitation centers. Literally, the defunding of them is coming by this administration. And then I want to say, if we're going to stop the importing of fentanyl, why are we going against Venezuela? Because Venezuela does not produce fentanyl. So here's the argument. Venezuela produces cocaine, right? What drug are we going against? Because I heard fentanyl is what's being brought in through the southern border. Then I heard the argument that China is smuggling fentanyl to Brazil to then bring up through Venezuela through the southern border to America. China has a very strong relationship with Mexico. China has literally developed a new trade route for Mexico. Why in the world would China have to go south of America when they have a partner right next to us, literally right there? Like, the sense is not making sense. And the last time that I heard Republican Senator Rand Paul say, we are literally murdering people, this is against the law, under the Geneva Convention that we signed, that we said we were going to abide by, international law that we're going to abide by, the laws of engagement constitute that we have to be being actively engaged with someone during war. Are we at war with Venezuela? Like, there's so many things here that are wrong, and that the argument that this man is doing is like, just like so wild to me. Are you telling me that we use the military to bomb drug dealers' houses? You would be okay with the military coming in and bombing my neighbor who deals drugs, for example? Like, what? We go in, we take the drugs, we arrest people, and we charge them. We don't bomb people and kill them. Are you okay? And then to say, oh, we have a video that we cannot see, right? Because it's classified, but we're going to take this administration's word that somebody watched the video and then wrote down, which that whatever they wrote down can, go missing, that they came back in and tried to save the Coke. If I get bombed and I'm in the ocean, and I swim, I am a dedicated smuggler. to be bombed, and in the middle of an attack like that, I'm gonna swim back to the boat and try and save the coke. Like, are we okay? Is everybody okay? Because this is literal murder, and what we're doing is plain wrong. Like, I don't care about the dumb arguments that they want to go and try to swindle through. This is wrong internationally. It's wrong domestically. It's just plain wrong. And the people that are ordering this from the very top, we have seen generals, we've seen people in the military that have quit their jobs because of this. Shame on you. Shame on you for allowing good people in the military to have to step away because you're corrupt.
Yeah, I mean, I see all the sides of it. I understand that we have a drug problem in this country, but to Skeptic's point, there's no prosecution. So that's where I have a problem. We're not judge, jury, and executioner. We're not God, but whatever. This is Pete Hegseth being investigated for war crimes. I'm going to have Enzo respond.
Major news right now. A group of former United States military JAG lawyers have concluded that Pete Hegseth has committed murder, war crimes, or both. A stunning statement released minutes ago shows a Department of Defense reeling, a Department of Defense that could face military tribunals, military prosecution, all starting at the top with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. The statement was released minutes ago by Just Security, and it highlights exactly how Pete Hegseth violated both United States law and the international laws of war. And I need your help to spread it everywhere. So make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this is a stunning development. The statement released by the former JAGS working group has unanimously considered both the giving and the execution of the orders by Pete Hegseth, and if true, to constitute war crimes, murder, or both. The group was established in February 2025 in response to the Secretary of Defense's firing of the Army and Air Force Judge Advocates General and his systematic dismantling of the military's legal guardrails. Had those guardrails been in place, we are confident they would have prevented these crimes. Bullet 1. If the United States military operation to interdict and destroy suspected narco-trafficking vessels is a, quote, non-international armed conflict, as the Trump administration to suggest, orders to kill everybody, which can be reasonably be regarded as an order to give no quarter and to double tap a target in order to kill survivors, are clearly illegal under international law. In short, they are war crimes. If the U.S. military operation is not a armed conflict of any kind, these orders to kill helpless civilians clinging to the wreckage of a vessel our military destroyed would subject everyone from Secretary of Defense down to the individual who pulled the trigger to prosecution under U.S. law for murder. We call upon Congress to investigate and the American people to oppose any use of the United States military that involves the intentional targeting of anyone, enemy combatants, non-combatants, or civilians, rendered hors de combat, out of the fight, as a result of their wounds or the destruction of the ship or aircraft carrying them. We also advise our fellow citizens that orders like these described above are the kinds of patently illegal orders all members of the military have a duty to disobey. Since orders to kill survivors of an attack at sea are patently illegal, anyone who issues or follows such orders can and should be prosecuted for war crimes, murder, or both.
So, Enzo, this is my thing though, them saying, the Democrats put that video out, don't follow the orders. I mean, basically, it sounds like they want them to do treason because they're being told to do it. I mean, can they not follow the orders? What do you think? And what is your defense of everything Skeptic said? Not attacking Skeptic, but Skeptic brings up the far or the left's perspective that many share. And I know you're going to give the rights. How do you defend what's happening?
So real easy. Welcome to America in 2025, where criminals, drug dealers, illegal immigrants have more rights than American citizens and even the president of the United States. They have more rights than anybody else. So this is real easy to defend. At the end of the day, Geneva Conventions have nothing to do with this whatsoever in international water. We do not abide by the ICC or the Rome Statute at all. Everything that Donald Trump and this administration is doing is completely legal under the pretense of the war on terrorism, which Tende Aragua, as well as many other gangs in Venezuela, have been declared as narco-terrorists, giving the authorization to go through with this. Aaron Parnas, another partisan hack who is paid by the DNC to spew out bullshit, forgot to mention that the JAG lawyers who put that out are former JAG lawyers who are not active duty and not can give any legal advice or anything like that. So then again, this is another partisan hack from Aaron Parnas. What Pete Hegseth did was they have the intelligence, and ABC News last night literally confirmed that these so-called civilians, that they bombed, were knocked off the boat. They got back onto the boat, and this is confirmed by somebody in the Pentagon, as well as active duty JAG that were advising them if the second strike was legal or not, said that they got back on the boat, they started maneuvering again, and that's when they neutralized the threat. Again, this is completely legal under the letter of the law. There's no UCMJ violation at all either. And to all of these, the Sinister Six, the Seditious Six, saying, refuse illegal orders. There has been no illegal orders that the Trump administration has given to any active duty military whatsoever. Any law enforcement in the United States, Border Patrol, ICE, DHS, HSI, none of them for you guys to even constitute that. You're literally calling for treason. You're literally calling for uprisings. You guys, this is not the first time. This is not the first time this year alone that everyone's been calling for this. They've been calling for it in their cities with Border Patrol to go against federal officers. Like, come on. You guys are so for law and order. You guys point the finger and say January 6th, law enforcement were beat up, but you'll go out there and go shoot at fucking ICE because they said they're the Gestapo. You guys, the hypocrisy is literally all over the place. At least we stay consistent with this shit. At least we want this to
So, hey, I got to ask you a question,
Yeah.
Enzo, because this has really been bothering me, okay? You know that Donald Trump just pardoned a Honduran president who was he convicted or was he was convicted? He was
right
convicted.
here, he was convicted, but he was working right here, cooperation with United States agencies, including the State Department, Southern Command, DEA, CIA, Treasury Department, Homeland Security across 3 administrations, citing classified documents and to dismantle cartels, extraditing traffickers, and fighting organized crime in a pardon request to Donald Trump. And this is all backed up by the court documents.
So why did he pardon him? Because somebody said in the chat he was being set up. Is that why?
He was being set up, exactly.
That's a lot of.
He was going to expose law. He was working with literally our intelligence agencies. It's no secret that the United States, the CIA, has been bringing drugs into this country and keeping eyes on cartels and funding cartels. This is nothing but another time of it. And when they got through with him, they threw him in jail, and he was going to expose them for all that shit. I don't disagree with the part.
I'm gonna let Kimberly go next, and Kimberly, I have you answer the super chat. But Kimberly, this clip that came out, it was by women on the left, and they called out the fact that minorities, in particular Hispanic Americans, are joining ICE. So I'm gonna have you respond to it because I know you're very passionate about certain issues, and I know you're very knowledgeable about this one. Let me play it.
She said you had it with our minorities in ICE. I mean, that connects to this, right? Yeah. Like, not only do you have no moral compass, and how many times have you seen these guys? They've got their masks on, so you can't see their whole face. But what you can see, it's like a brown skin tone and a dude who looks like his last name is probably like Lopez or Hernandez or something. It's like, what is wrong with you? Not only do you not have morality, apparently you don't have self-preservation. I mean, these people hate you. They hate you. They hate your family. They hate your kids. They hate your future grandkids. They don't think you belong here. You're not a quote unquote heritage American. You're never going to belong. And you're the one implementing the violent force against your own community. I just can't wrap my head around that.
So Kimberly, you're first generation American, right? You're first generation American, right, Kimberly?
I don't know. My mom came here when she was little, and she was naturalized as a teen.
Okay,
she wasn't born here.
You're technically first generation American. Okay,
Right.
so you can respond to the video, but also thank you, who's on it, for the $5 super chat. He said, "Why do the left love to support criminals and smugglers instead of legal residents of the U.S.?" So you have 2 questions to answer that, and response to why would minorities, in particular Hispanics, join ICE, and are you against it as a minority?
I don't support criminals or smugglers. I think crime is crime, and it should be prosecuted as such. I believe in the rule of law. I come from a legal background. The issue with crime is not the supply, it's the demand of drugs. So why, let's ask ourselves, why do we have such a high demand for drugs in this country? It's because we have a lot of diseases of despair. It's because we are raised and bred to be consumeristic, superficial Americans. Our spending power is the greatest spending power in the world because we don't really have an identity or a culture that isn't based around consumerism. We are 4% of the population and we consume 25% of all of the resources of the world. That's why a lot of Americans consume drugs and opioids. If we want to go against fentanyl, let's start with the pharmaceutical companies. And also with regards to, I mean, crime is a whole conversation within itself, but over-policing just creates more crime. The real solution to crime is addressing socioeconomic issues within our communities and building communities. And then smugglers, okay, legalize drugs and prostitution, for one. Second, I believe it's 85% of all of the money that comes from drugs and cartels is legally held here in banks in the United States government. Why don't we go after the people with the money to begin with? Why don't we go after the money launderers? Because a lot of American businesses, American citizens benefit off of that, and that money gets circulated in our economy here. We want that money here. The reason why we go after crime and smugglers is because we need Black and brown bodies to fill our for-profit prison system, starting with the crime bill, which exploded the prison population. Per capita, the United States government, we imprison a lot of Americans because we make a lot of money off of it. Second, I agree with Crystal Ball. It is an issue with regards to ICE. And I see it a lot here because they are terrorizing my community here in Los Angeles. And a couple weeks ago, down the street from my house. The issue with immigration is also a really long conversation, but I believe in immigration reform. Our immigration system is a failed immigration system. It needs to be reformed from the bottom up. A lot of people exploit the immigration system because, one, of necessity, and also two, because it can be exploited. So that's why it needs to be reformed, right? Let's start with amnesty, right? That's what I think. And then also second, there are a lot of conservative Hispanics and Mexicans. I personally know a lot of conservative Hispanics and Mexicans, a lot of Trump supporting Hispanics and Mexicans. A lot of Hispanics, especially when you get to the East, lower side, are conservative with regards to like social issues, like with abortion and other things, social issues, but a lot of Hispanic communities are actually very conservative. So when you get a lot of immigrants here that are Hispanic, I've seen it, and it's a ongoing debate all the time within Hispanic communities. The Hispanics, and at least speaking for Mexicans who come here legally and go through the process, have a sort of like resentment towards those fellow Hispanics who don't do it the right way. But the solution to that is not to step down on or hurt your fellow Mexicans. It's for immigration reform. But yeah, there is a lot of self-hate and self-loathing within the Hispanic community. I agree with what Crystal Ball said right there.
Damn. Well, guys, to answer the question, it said Trump during his last term tried to use interdiction methods, and runners would throw the evidence overboard. In order to prevent this, he's just sinking their boats. The crime bill was under Biden. Thank you, Al Thorne, the Martian, for the $10 super chat.
I don't support Biden. Yeah.
I'm gonna let the leftist ladies respond to this. What do you think about this, guys? The reason why they're saying they're blowing up the boats is because they would try to delete the evidence. Do you think that still justifies it? Kim, I'll let you go first because Skeptic kind of already touched on it.
No, it does not justify it. If we want to prosecute crime, we need to prosecute crime. And also, I just want to say, we all know this is bullshit, right? There's no evidence that we don't have any evidence, Enzo. There's zero evidence. If they have any evidence that there's any drugs,
What are you talking
Those
about?
people
They
should be
presented the
prosecuted.
evidence to the Gang of Eight.
I'm sorry?
They presented the evidence to the Gang of Eight. The Military Armed Service Committee, they
Okay, why
presented
don't
the
they
evidence.
present the evidence to
Mike
us?
Johnson literally just came out of an interview the other day and literally said all the evidence that they have.
You can't just take them at their word, Enzo. There's no evidence that there's any drugs, and even if there was, those people.
What are you
need to
talking? You can literally watch the video and you can literally see the piles of fucking drugs on the boat.
Do you really think
I'm
that's
pretty
making it
sure
to
that's
US
enough
shores?
evidence that we need.
It's completely illogical. There's
No,
no
it's
way
not.
that that little amount. Okay, argument's
The
sake,
little
let's say there is
amount.
a little bit of drugs.
Do you
on those
understand
boats.
how big these
That
boats
doesn't
are?
give them the right to blow up the boats.
Yes, it does.
No,
Yes,
it
it does.
fucking doesn't.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? So we don't care about these drugs killing American citizens.
Yeah, actually,
I care
do.
more about 230 million Americans a year dying from drugs than fucking 13 goddamn fucking drug smugglers. I don't give a fuck.
Okay,
Honestly.
so since he cares so much, what is the biggest drug that Americans are dying from?
Fentanyl, right?
Fentanyl, cocaine, right up there with crack and heroin.
Not
cocaine.
No, it's opioids. It's opioids. It's what it
cocaine.
is.
Oh, yeah,
And
because
when
of-
we look at what Venezuela is producing, they're producing cocaine. So
Yeah.
why not go against the people that are producing opioids? Why are
Very
we just
great.
bombing one nation? Why are we going against Venezuela, who like you said, Tren de Aragua, right? They tried to make them an international terrorist group. America's the only one that's claiming they're an international terrorist group.
Well,
other
Yeah,
nations,
because we're
other
the only
nations
ones-
are not claiming that.
Venezuela dumped them into our country. That's why. That's why.
How did they do that?
You forgot
Explain
about-
to me how they did that. Explain to me how they dumped people into our nation.
Under the Biden administration, where
Oh,
we
I
gave
think you're forgetting-
500,000. Hold on, where we gave 500,000 of them TPS status to come into the United States, where they took over fucking apartment buildings, terrorized neighborhoods. That's why they're here. That's why we classified them as a terrorist organization. We have full authority to protect Americans at the end of the day. If you think America is so bad that everywhere else is so great, that we're so terrible under this administration, then fucking leave. At least we have an
You're going off.
administration
So
that is
you go
doing
off
something.
into this
I
random.
was talking.
You go off into
I
this
was
random.
talking.
I
Hey,
never
was
said
talking.
any of that. You're
I
putting
was
words into my mouth that I never
I was
said.
talking.
And
I don't care.
us saying that they're a domestic terrorist group doesn't give us a right to go into
never said
international
domestic. We said
waters,
international.
into international waters and bomb them when we don't actually have proof. Where's this video? Please provide me the video where you can see the coke, because you're saying
me
that you
be
saw a
clear.
video that you never saw. You have no evidence, but you're going off of someone else's words. It's crazy.
I got you.
For
I got
argument's
you.
sake,
okay.
I
if
got
there
you.
is a little bit.
Show it to me.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I would be fine if they were arresting them. But the fact is, what bothers me personally is they said that there were survivors. I don't know. I have a problem with that. You know, we say we're a Christian country, yet we're killing people. I have without what's the term?
Due
Kimberly?
process.
Come on, my legal girl. Without due process, I have a problem with that.
We don't need due
That's
process.
Alejandro Carranza
Yes, we do.
Medina.
We do need.
This is the name of a Venezuelan fisherman, Alejandro Carranza Marina.
Oh, he's
and
a
his
fisherman?
family
Was he a
and
fisherman
his
during the day and
family
smuggled drugs at night?
and
Yeah, I got you.
his family is coming out and saying that they don't have any way of tying him.
What's
They have
that?
no way
What's
of
that on the
tying
back
him.
of the boat there, huh?
That-
You don't have
again,
fucking evidence of it?
again.
We don't
No,
have
you do
evidence of
not.
it?
No, you
Yeah.
don't. No,
Really,
you don't.
really, you don't
No.
see the drugs?
No.
so
They have not
Skeptic, why
provided
don't
us.
you think-
They have
The
not.
ignorance of you is fucking
No,
insane.
no, they have not provided us
Skeptic.
with enough information for them to be deemed guilty of this, and for us to say
Skeptic,
that
why
bombing
are
them
you
is
not
okay.
believing the video? Do you think the video
Okay,
is doctored?
I'll say that. Let's say for argument's sake, that is those are drugs. That happens often, right? Like even they catch them a lot off the coast of Florida. Why the fuck are we in Venezuela? Why don't we go off the coast of Florida?
And what gives us
can't
the
do that.
right? Number
Second,
one,
if we want to really quickly, sorry, Skeptic. Second, if we do want to go after drugs, why are we going after the little fish? If
We're
you
not
take
going
out
after
the
the
little
fish, we're
fish,
going
there will
after the
always be
cartels who are
more
doing
little
it.
fish. Somebody will always do it. As long as there's a demand, there will be a supply. It is so backwards to go after the little fish. Go after the big fish. Start with all of the money that's invested here in the United States coming from the cartels that this country allows. Why don't we go after the big fish?
let me just say this. Let me start off with saying
Yeah,
this.
you can be the last skeptic, and then we're gonna go to
The
next
biggest
topic.
consumers of cocaine are white people, okay? And the fact of a matter is this: the government doesn't give a shit about who is addicted to what, because they put crack into the Black community and they didn't give a shit about who was dying and what was happening to the Black community. But now all of a sudden they want to make a big deal about, oh, why is this coming into our nation? Because they want to go and attack Venezuela. They're not hitting the people that are actually producing, and Venezuela is not producing fentanyl. Are we going to kill people because they have cocaine? So then it's going to be okay whenever we see white Americans on some boat and somebody just bombs them, because they just they make the assumption. They make the assumption. They make the no. I will say whatever I want to say because I'm going factually
you're a
based.
racist piece
I'm
of
going,
shit.
I'm
That's
going
why.
factually based. The fact that white people, you're a racist piece of shit. Everyone that follows you is fucking racist.
That you're not racist.
Yeah, right.
That you want to get
I have
racist
listened in on your lies. You're a fucking racist. You want to talk about racism?
White people this, white
your
people
ass
that,
is
white people
racist.
this, white people that. Shut the.
No, I won't.
Let's cut it off. Let's cut it off.
You fucking racist piece
You're
of
the
shit.
first fucking
Fuck
person
you.
to say racism, and you're the fucking racist.
Yeah, how am I racist?
Listen to his live for 2 seconds. All they talk
What's
about
up?
is
How am I
race.
racist? How am I racist?
Oh God, I can't.
One thing. One thing. Yeah, that's what I fucking thought.
What the fuck? I don't give a fuck what you're saying. I have a clip of you saying racist shit on your live on TikTok. I will. Somebody send it to me. Send me a DM of you and your little cronies talking shit about the Black community. About the Black community. So yes, bitch. Yes, bitch, you racist.
Play it right now.
Motherfucker racist as hell up here talking about pandering when he gets
and
on.
we want you to level up with us. Our brand new party memberships are now live, and we're bringing you real perks that actually mean something. When you sign up as a member, you get exclusive new party emojis only for members to flex in the chat, member-only content, behind the scenes, unreleased, and VIP access, a member badge / tag, so we know exactly who our real supporters are during the live streams. And that's just the beginning.
Hold on.
Starting soon, we're launching our brand new series, a member-only live stream, first Fridays, Ladies Night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, starting this Friday. This will be an intimate, members-only conversation you won't get anywhere else with the ladies of the New Party podcast. Plus, we're taking you with us in real life. Your membership helps us bring more on-the-ground content. We attended the Diddy trial, and we're back at it again, attending AmFest, featuring Officer Tatum, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, the Chrisleys, Erica Kirk, and more. Exclusive preview below.
America Fest is the starting point for us to take America to greater heights in 2025. We have a team that is ready to change the world and bring America back to greatness.
Experience the greatest celebration of America. 4 days, thousands of patriots, the loudest voices, the strongest leaders, featuring Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Jesse Waters, Greg Gutfeld, Grant Cardone, Rob Schneider, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, Glenn Beck, Riley Gaines, Todd Chrisley, Savannah Chrisley, and more. December 18th to 21st in Phoenix, Arizona. The movement meets here. You won't want to miss this.
And as you already know, the New Party podcast will be there in full effect. Miss Rippy, Ken, Billions, and myself will be there in person. So check us out when we're there if you end up going to Phoenix. So if you rock with us, if you support what we're building, if you want more access, more content, and more real conversations, hit that join button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're at it, and become an official New Party member today. Let's grow this movement together. New Party.
Okay, we are back. We're gonna bring Skeptic back. Where's the applause? Bring the applause. Come on, we bring Skeptic back up.
Hold on, I got it. Oh, I ain't gonna lie, I love it.
Hooray!
I love it.
Oh God.
Yeah, y'all
Okay, guys.
Y'all argue. God damn.
You might need to bring Jesus here.
I was in the middle of my
Enzo's gone.
statement.
Enzo has exited the conversation, which is probably for the best, but it's okay. We'll move on. We all need to be respectful. But I didn't want Enzo to leave. I'm sad he's gone, but nevertheless, we're here. Okay. Guys, we represent all sides. Sometimes all sides have an emotional conversation. I'm glad we're having this conversation though, okay? Enzo and Skeptic, what I love about them is they both represent their sides to the extreme, and I respect that. So guys, thank you for staying. Oh, she left. I don't know. Okay, so then there were three. Kimberly, you're the only one from the left, and I'm on the right, and Kamal's independent. So we're going to I'm going to be speaking, guys, in the panel because, and then there were three, but that's okay. All right. Oh, she's back. Okay. Ooh, okay. Ooh, she's back. All right. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. We had a super chat. Feel bad having to do this now. And Enzo, if you're watching, I was going to have you respond after it calmed down, but heaven came at you, Enzo. I'm sorry. I got to show it. Enzo, how about you stick to whatever it is that your specialty is, because it's not military warfare. As a veteran, I can say that what they did was a war crime. We have 4 veterans on the panel, actually 3. Heaven, Doc, and Armonte. They're part of the man cave. So shout out to them. Thank you. Sorry, Gray Mars. Thank you for their service. So yes, I can't put Enzo back on, Vinny. He left. He'll be back on Tuesday night, maybe Monday, because I'll be hosting Monday and Tuesday this week. So we're going to saw it out. Oh, there's another one?
Yeah, there was another one that came in.
Oh, geez, more came in. Video or no video. Thank you, Evan, for all the super chats. They were in international waters, which is ICC and ICJ jurisdiction. That was extrajudicial killing. L.A. Thorne said, at Heaven, I'm an Army veteran who drove tanks. Thank you, L.A. And I vehemently disagree with you. There are no war crimes being committed here. Hey, L.A., you showed a lot of love tonight. Can you please send in the chat why you think it's not? And I will put it up as a courtesy because you've been supporting us tonight. And Big Timmy said Native Americans and natives are biggest. What does this mean? Native Americans and natives are biggest user.
I don't know. It looks like Junior used half of that up.
Biggest drug users. That's what I think he's saying.
Oh, okay. I get it. So yeah, Vinny says, I thank you, Vinny, for your support. You've been coming all week. I do agree we shouldn't be effing with Venezuela. And Vinny's a conservative, I can tell, and he feels that way. Guys, we got to have these tough conversations, please. So, but nevertheless, we gonna talk about the name calling later. But nonetheless, we're gonna move on. And we're gonna get to the next topic. This was the topic for Enzo. You left right before it. Representative Luna files petition to force House vote on congressional stock trading ban. Kamal's been so patiently waiting to talk. I'm going to have him go first. This is what Anapana Luna had to say.
So I just left the floor with Representative Burchett, and after our bipartisan coalition and talking this morning, we have decided, because of a lack of movement from the House of Representatives, to initiate the discharge petition on banning insider trading, meaning it is live now. Now, if leadership wants to put forward a bill that would actually do that and end the corruption, we're all for it, but we're tired of the partisan games. This is the most bipartisan thing in U.S. history, and it's time that the House of Representatives listens to the American people. So it is now live. Anything to say, Burchett?
Let's make America proud. Hey, this place is broken. It is a complete open sewer. Let's at least tell America we're trying to do something right. Anybody making 600% return on their dadgum investment needs to leave Washington, then you get their butts up to Wall Street.
Go to Wall Street.
So pretty much, Kamal, I don't know if you know, but you've been doing political content with us. Allegedly, what they're saying is that the Congress people, they know about stocks and things like that before these announcements are made. So they're buying and selling things because they know when big things are coming, laws and things like that are coming. What do you think about this law? Do you support it? What's your thoughts?
Hell no, I don't support this law. Fuck all that. I'm already knowing that these Congress people do that. And if they pass this law, they're going to take all their money out the stock market, and it's going to mess up a lot of goddamn black people that's been starting to invest in the goddamn stock market. No, don't pass this law. This has been going on since the beginning of the goddamn time. You feel me? Since the stock market was created. I think the stock market was created in like the, real talk, stock market started with us, Black Americans. They was fucking having us as the stock markets and shit. But the shit that you see now, I think that was created in like the 70s, maybe the 80s or something like that. So I don't agree with this bill because I know the catastrophe this can do if they pass this shit and saying that the Congress people can't trade and stuff like that, it's gonna mess up the stock market like a mug. You feel me? What people need to do, we need to have Nancy Pelosi write a goddamn book on what she did. Because she is the goddamn GOAT of alleged insider trading. See, I said alleged with quotation mark because, you know, I don't want us to get sued or some shit, you feel me? So allegedly, Nancy Pelosi with the insider trading, she needs to write a book, you feel me? But to answer the question, I really don't agree with this because I know the downfall this is going to have, and I know this is going to have a big downfall on a lot of people that's invested in the stock market that can't really take their money out like that because they're trying to make it grow. Okay, so that's my stance on it.
Yeah, facts. LA, I know you want to come up. I'll let you call into the show. We really don't send out the link like that. Hold on, because I'm logged in, because I want to hear from a military. I'm very curious about this. So here's the number if you want to call in, 407-602-8114. Please *67 when you call in. I'm going to have to share the screen, 407-602-8114 if you'd like to call in. Wow, what a night. All right, next clip. Kamal, thank you so much for that, because it is important that, you know, this is an important topic. This is what Tucker Carlson had to say about the insider trading.
$1 trillion a year to the U.S. military. Do we get anything in return?
We get some enhanced stock portfolios, and I'll give you a great example. When Joe Biden gave our military, our missile defense system, I haven't voted for a penny for Ukraine. I'm proud of that. It's not my dadgum war. I'm not sending my 18-year-old daughter to a country that most members of Congress couldn't find on a dadgum globe.
Yeah.
And so you have, we give them our missile defense system, and then we have to replenish ours, which we should. We can't be left naked without any of that defense. And guess what? Some of those contractors we described get a multi-billion with a B dollar no bid contract. And who do you think has bought stock in that company? Members of Congress, 2 weeks prior to the president making that official notice. And you see it time and time again. I mean, do you honestly believe members of Congress are making 5 and 6? You've met some of these guys. I mean, they can't come in out of the rain, some of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guilty of that as well. But they're making 500 and 600%.
Yeah, a lot of really damaged
return on their 500 and 600% return on their investment. And war is great for business. It's great for the economy, but it's not good for. I don't think it's good for our souls.
No, there's nothing worse. Killing people is not good. I know that's a controversial statement.
Yeah.
But why is it impossible to ban stock trading for members of Congress?
That's a great idea. I have the bill to do it, and that's why. We have a bipartisan group again, myself and Priya Paul, and I never get her name right, but Cortez and me and Chip Roy and a bunch of others. We've got a bill, but it's not going anywhere.
Why?
Because too many members of Congress. I mean, we were told by leadership that these guys can't afford to be here. You know what? If you can't afford to be in Congress, and go get another dadgum job. More people have played professional baseball in the major leagues than have been in the United States. Can I say
something real quick?
Go ahead.
Y'all don't know this, but I'm into all this shit. The stock market, all Congress, politics, dealing with that stuff. The two stocks he talked about Palantir, and he talked about this other stock. It's called like Exxon or something like that. They knew prior, and they fucking chipped in beforehand, and that shit went up over the year. Palantir
really?
And Exxon. Yep. And this is what I mean. I'm like, they are the jig is up, but the thing is, there's nothing we can do about it. It's already been implemented that Congress people. What it is that certain Congress people are mad that other Congress people do this, and they just they just not in the know of doing it. That's all I see. Because certain Congress people doing this, and other people's like, yeah, we're gonna pass a bill that say we can't have no politicians doing no stock trading, While they fucking stock trading they damn self. I'm pretty sure Burr got some Microsoft and Google he done bought. You feel me? Like, so I just wanted to say that real quick so people.
Our caller called in, guys. I'm gonna share the screen. You should be able to hear. Hello, can you hear me? All right, I'm gonna loop you in and let you on the call. I think I can have like an overlay. Hold on, guys. Let me figure this out.
Can y'all hear him?
Yeah. Can you talk? Can you talk, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Y'all, can y'all hear him?
Yes. Hello, sir. Thanks for your service.
Hello.
She
Can you
said
hear
hello.
us?
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. The reason why I say that it's not a war crime is because it's under the general purview of the president under national security. The drugs that are being smuggled in here illegally, they are not legal drugs, that we trade, one nation to another. You know what I'm saying? That they possess a risk akin to firearms, like, say, you're smuggling like machine guns, rifles, handguns, ammunition, into the country. They can kill anyone. You know what I'm saying? And you shipping hundreds of tons, of cocaine, heroin, things like that. They, like a small amount can kill a person very easily if it's laced with, say, fentanyl or other drugs. So that's just my standpoint on it. And the drugs that are being blown up in these boats, it disincentivizes the drug runners and also disincentivizes the actual connect who is providing the drugs, because it's costing the drug smuggler.
Yeah, but you haven't explained how it's legal, how the military is able to legally do it, because that's
It's
what you said.
under national security. It's a national security matter. That's how it's legal.
Internationally, can you give me what law that is so we can look it up?
With the Venezuela, they're trying to connect it to jihadists because they want to go under the AUMF.
It's under
In
national
order for it
security.
to go through the AUMF, it has to be linked to Al Qaeda. And they did this all over Africa too, where all of a sudden there was Al Qaeda all over Africa, and that's how they were able to, under the AUMF, attack. They're always trying to find an excuse. The only difference with Venezuela is that they're not really trying.
If anyone's asking a question, I can't answer. I don't hear it.
Oh, she said to the ladies that were speaking said, can you tell us what law it is? And then she was explaining, the other lady was saying, she was explaining to you that basically they're trying to say that it's tied to terrorist groups, which is what they're saying. It's actually Hezbollah, from what Marco Rubio said yesterday. So, I mean, the finish line keeps moving, sir. And I think that's what everyone's getting frustrated with. The first reason was the war on drugs, and then it's terrorist groups.
Well, you can have both at the same time, because you can have drugs, funding terrorist groups. Like take for instance Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda and the Taliban, they were being funded by the opioid trade, the poppy trades. And remember 9/11? You gotta say more.
No, that makes sense. I understand what you're saying. You're trying to say being proactive versus reactive, if I'm understanding you correctly.
Yes, and the thing, and like I said in the super chat beforehand, is that Trump already tried to do the way how the left wanted it to, get the smugglers off the boat and, bring them to trial, but they didn't have any evidence of what they were transporting, because, like I said, they were thrown, they would see the boats, trying to intercept them, and they would just throw the evidence overboard. And once they, get caught up to them, it's like they don't have the evidence on them, so it's a legal out to them. So by the U.S. military destroying the boats while they're in transit, it kills two birds with one stone. You don't have the drugs flooding into the country because the boats are not making it to the country, and you have a disincentive for them to actually try, because who's willing to risk themselves getting blown up by a missile or a explosion if you are smuggling drugs? So
okay, well, I appreciate
it's an active deterrent.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you for calling in. Ellie, we really appreciate your support. I'm gonna pull you down.
All right, no problem. Thank you for having me on, man.
Thank you so much. And thank you for your service again, sir.
Appreciate you, bro.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Nora, I think he couldn't hear us.
Yeah, he couldn't hear you guys, but I was saying, I pretty much said what y'all had said. My bad.
Yeah.
I still didn't understand under what law it is that we can constitute our domestic ability to say that this is a terrorist group and then internationally attack somebody. Because from what I understand, the laws of engagement internationally, we have signed an agreement under the Geneva Convention, right? We signed an agreement on how we are going to engage. And there are certain things that institute whether or not we're engaging. Number one, we have to be at war. So let's just assume that we're at war right now against Venezuela, right? Still, there would be rules of engagement, and I feel like people driving a boat they're not attacking us. They're not they're not actively attacking us, and especially if we bomb them.
Hold on, Skeptic. 1 second. Hello, who is this? This is who? Funky Town. Okay, got you. Sorry. All right.
Getting a free call?
Man, I wish Kamal wish you could be the man in control of this. You're much better at this. Hold on. Okay, Funky Town, we've let you up. Can you guys hear him?
Yes. No.
No, we can't hear you. Say something.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
I can't hear anybody.
There you are.
He can't hear
Okay.
us. He only can hear you, Nora.
He's not going to be able to hear you. So what do you have to say, Funky Town?
Okay, so 24 years United States Army, military intelligence, and I don't know what this other dude was talking about who just called in, but again, to answer the question, it's absolutely a war crime, and Americans need to stop acting like we're stupid. Okay, that's the thing. We're acting like we're stupid, like it was in international waters. Let's just take that for a fact. You're not in U.S. waters. You're in international waters. There are different rules that apply. 2, there is no declaration of war against Venezuela or anybody else for that matter. So you try to use the whole concept that we're using this because of deterrent or whatever. That's crazy. That doesn't add up. If you're going to say it's about they were running drugs, you have to ask yourself a question. Why would you take a speedboat or whatever little small boat all the way from Venezuela to the United States? How much are you actually moving to be doing that? Are you moving that much product to make it worth your while to take that risk doing that with a little small boat like that? The answer is no. That's the type of boat that you move into somebody else's area after you've gotten it from some other bigger, larger vessel, right? That's not adding up. Number 3, we have a Navy and a Coast Guard that we have spent billions of dollars, and we have other means of stopping those boats, disabling those boats, and searching those boats and confiscating the things. So the fact that none of that stuff is happening shows you that's not the point and not the purpose. The other thing to do, try to bring up about the poppy fields and all this other stuff. What people don't understand is that you're looking at what happened and who was doing what in Afghanistan. And trust me, as somebody who was in at the time, this is what happened. Our special operations forces were used to go in and to protect those poppy fields. It was our CIA that had those farmers, instead of planting crops, to plant more poppy fields. And now we have an opioid problem in the United States. What a lot of people don't understand is that the people that are running the security for the cartels in Mexico, and 2 of the cartels in Mexico are former special operations / Navy SEALs and Delta that are running the security for those same things that are running those drugs into this country. So people need to stop pretending like you're playing. You're trying to act like you're doing, but you're getting deceived. We've got an opioid problem because CIA and all these other people are moving those drugs out of Afghanistan and moving that. And there's a pipeline that you don't even see or know about on how that stuff is getting into Mexico and then getting into the United States. And the point is, y'all, you're sitting here looking at, why are we messing with Venezuela? We're messing with Venezuela because they want to take out
They want to take out whatever his name is,
Maduro,
to get him disabled. Yes, same CIA crap they've been doing in the Caribbean and in South America and Central America. Take out a leader and then put in a puppet. So then what? We have access to what? The largest petroleum reserve in the world on the planet. That is what this is all about. And anybody who wants to sit here and pretend that it's something different is crazy and is smoking crack. That's that. I mean, the thing is, people are acting. You guys are acting. You guys, this is the thing. And now I'm not trying to be too critical, but you all talk and talk and talk. Don't tend to get to what the actual problems are, because you're talking so much that you don't see the shell game that's been happening this whole time. This whole time that they have been moving this crap and making this money. The same crap they pulled on us with Iran Contra and how we got drugs in the black community and the poor communities in the 80s, which is I'm of that generation. I remember when it was happening. The black community and followers and were getting taken out of households. That's the same they're pulling right now. But the only reason they're having this situation now is because white people are the ones that are getting this, are the ones getting addicted to this crap. That's the only reason why this is an issue. And you can sit here and pretend that it's something different. You can pretend. Oh no. That's the actual reason why this is happening. The only reason we're having any kind of issue is because it's a white issue. Oof. If it was black or brown, it would be build more jails and more prisons so we can keep on adding to the number of U.S. citizens that are in prisons, and we're the biggest one in the world. And again, people keep on talking and they're doing all this other stuff, but the powers that be have been playing us and playing as American people for decades. We got pushed into the war in Iraq off of some bullshit and some lying. And we're sitting, and I'm talking to somebody who was there. And even before I was there, I knew it was a lie they were telling us. I'm in the Army. I'm telling you, I knew it was, and we knew it too. You know why we knew it? Because they said weapons of mass destruction. The question, no one in the intelligentsia and the media never asked the question: how in the fuck was he going to deploy these so-called weapons of mass destruction? And that's the same question y'all aren't asking right now. How was he going to, when his whole Air Force got destroyed and the 6 fighter jets were still there, got taken to Iran, and they never.
Well, are you following our page, Funky? Because I made a video on this today, and I posed the question: what country have we invaded since World War II and we made it better? And that's my whole argument of why I think this is BS. It's not to help the Venezuelans out, like you said, to your point.
Of course not. But it never had. It has never been. And again, the only ones that we've ever made better are the European and the Japanese after World War II. The Japanese, because they were smart enough to figure out to say, you know what, we're gonna give up our arms. So we became their defensive protector, and they did what? They modernized, and they took their education, and they're the number one in the world now. They did all these. They said, whatever works, we're gonna use that. And then you take the Europeans. We forgave the war debts of the French and the British. We pumped in with the Marshall Plan, and we reached Europe because they're Europeans. Everyone else, they're there to be exploited, and that's it. It's not. I mean, it really is that simple. It's not even. I mean, I would love for everybody to believe that America is this, beacon of whatever. No. If you look at what the CIA has done, throughout time, it has only been for the destabilization of people that are trying to come up with a period to maintain the control of European and Western powers, that we'll call it the world North, to maintain the powers so that they can still take the natural resources. How is France? Wow. How does France have the fourth largest gold reserves and don't have a gold mine inside of France? How's that work? How's that even possible?
Right. No, you bring up good points, Funky. And I just want to say thank you for your service and thank you for calling in. We're going to start wrapping up the show, but we appreciate your call in.
All right, have a good one.
Have a good night. God bless. Oh, what an eventful show. Very interesting. It's getting to be that time where we're going to wrap up now and do closing thoughts.
Okay, Kimberly, what's your closing thoughts? Are you ready or you need a moment?
I'll do it. I have to rip the Band-Aid off, but I agreed with a lot of what this guy said. I did try to make a lot of the points he made in his little call earlier, but I'm still like working on how I'm gonna like deliver and talk because I do bloviate. So I'm working on that. But he's right about, I think I agreed with almost everything he said. I also want to mention really quickly, I didn't get asked about Hillary Clinton. Why are we still listening to this lady? Why is this lady still out in polite society? Hillary Clinton is such a clown. Why does anybody listen to her? Please, please, please go away. Stop going to conferences. Please just stop talking. Please. Also, I saw some of the videos that from the representative, forgot her name, Luna, the Mexican American representative from Florida. She had a little interview after walking down the hill, and on there they're asking her about why they think some congressmen are against or for the stock trade ban, and she won't name names. This is what I don't like about politics. Why don't you just name names? Please, just name names. Nobody cares. It's all a game for them. They always give themselves a raise every year, but they want to be allowed to keep trading stocks, but they won't give us a federal minimum wage. They won't tether it to inflation. They won't give us a vote on healthcare. It's such a joke. It really is. And then there was another thing that we talked about today, but I can't remember. Oh yes, Venezuela. Please don't start a war with Venezuela. It's for all the wrong reasons. Nicolás Maduro said he will step down. He said he'll step down. He just wants to allow for a transition period. He said he just wants to allow Venezuela an election after, but they don't want that. They want to put their puppet in there. It's not necessarily about the oil. It's also just because they want to keep the war machine going because they make a lot of money for ongoing war. After one war, before they end one war, they start another one. It's like ongoing war. They need to keep those stocks up. And unfortunately, it's at the brunt of the American people because we're the ones who are riddled with diseases of despair. We're the ones who consume the most drugs. We're the ones who, unfortunately, are distracted by the smaller picture. We miss the forest for the trees, the trees for the forest for the trees. I forgot that one because we're so distracted at attacking each other when it's really more of an up-down, us against them. But yeah, thanks for having me and thank you for your patience. Breadcrumbs. Thank you for, letting me talk.
Oh Lord, anytime. Thank you for coming,
Also,
Kim.
that poor Don Jr., he needs some friends. Please, somebody get him some friends. He started to give me Hunter Biden vibes.
Skeptic, what's your closing thoughts?
Yeah. Like I was saying, I was speaking on facts. I was called a racist for speaking on actual facts. And what Funky was talking about, thank you for saying, backing up what I'm saying. I'm talking on actual information. If you like real information, follow me on TikTok on skeptic.tik. TIK or The Skeptic. I talk about this all the time. I do research on this and I post the information so that you can screenshot it, you can have it available and go and read in on it. The white community is the one that's being plagued by schmug use and by opioids overdoses, and that's why they care, or they're acting like they care. They're using this subject as a manipulation tactic, and it doesn't make any kind of sense. And the laws of engagement, which we're not even at war with Venezuela. But again, we've spoken about the biggest reserves in the world are in Venezuela. The fact that they want to overthrow the government because they want to have someone in there that they can control. All of these things, like we've said before, right? If it makes you upset that I speak on facts and I give you the research that says that the white community is the one that's consuming the most white girl, or, I mean, we even call it that. Like, just think about that. And that's the reason why they're trying to make this an issue. Don't follow me because I will trigger you. I will always trigger men that don't have a ability to control their emotions, to self-regulate and have civility. I always speak on the facts and research that I've actually looked into. So if you are into that kind of thing, go ahead and follow me. I think that what we're doing is disgusting. And I think that the point that I was going to make, if we allow this to be okay internationally, then we should also allow for people to target white tea Americans when they go into their nations because of the research that backs up that more than likely they are on some kind of schmug use. We have a research showing that 20% of white tea Americans self-identified themselves as using an illicit drugs in the last 6 months. So if we're okay with bombing Venezuelans and saying, okie doke, we don't care, just kill them all, then we should be okay with the same being done to our people. And we wouldn't be. We would be screaming at the top of our lungs and we would be enraged by anybody attacking our civilians. So we should have the same respect for foreign countries. We should treat other people the way that we want to be treated. And I think that's where respect lies. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. I'm not a racist because I speak on facts, because the fact of the matter is this nation is racist and they put crack into the black community in the 80s and the 70s. Like, this is facts that we have that people can show that this was actually done. And all of a sudden now they want to say that they care. They're defunding the rehabilitation centers. I said this earlier. This administration says that they care about people that are addicted, but then they want to defund them and have them out on the streets and be homeless. They want to euthanize the homeless people. You heard somebody on Fox News say just unalive them unwillingly. Like, what are we talking about? We need to continue to be humans and care about one another and treat each other fairly. That's it. Literally, that's the bottom of the line.
My bad, girl. 1 second. I'm pulling you down. Sorry. Kamal, what's your closing thoughts?
Today was a beautiful episode, like what Kimberly said in the chat. Oh, both sides was arguing. In the chat, on the panel. Oh, I love it. But at least we learned both sides of the spectrum, right? That's the point of the new party, right? I'm apolitical, so I'm more of whatever gonna give my Black American tangible. That's who I'm for. But yeah, man, this was great. You feel me? And I just have to say, the Don Jr. Burr or whatever, he most definitely was using the shit that they bringing in, and that's most definitely that cocaine. All right. To be honest, I saw some people in the chat, and I don't know if this might be a play to get that oil in Venezuela. I don't know, but that's what they were saying in the chat. You feel me? Also, I'm not with the whole trade ban and banning the politicians from doing the trade, because all they'll do is just take their money out the fucking stock market and now collapse it, and that'll hurt a lot more people than help. All right. And then also, we gotta give air horns to everybody that was in the super chat. That's what I'm talking about. Both sides. Hey, y'all was like, the broke Democrats ain't paying in. Well, they paid in today. Shit, I saw some super chats from the Democrats today. I see y'all. Okay. You feel me? But yeah, at the end of the day, this is the point of the new party. I got the YouTube pinned to the top of my chat. Y'all go subscribe if you're watching on my end. Hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. Also, if y'all want to come over on my end, Kamal Johnson Network, y'all hit that notification bell too so you know when I go live. And yeah, I'm just gonna get my inner skeptic on the day. Don't let them tombstone your constitution. Don't let them trample on your rights. I got you, skeptic. Usually you say that at the end. I got you today. You feel me? Don't let them stone cold stun your constitutions and shit like that. You feel me? Lovely episode today. I loved every minute of this. Oh my goodness. Woo! Damn. That's all I gotta say. Shout out to the chat today.
Of course
Y'all,
you loved
y'all
it. Of
fire,
course you
both
loved
sides.
it. Of course you loved it. God damn. Oh, your people.
Yeah, Terrell, what's good, bro? That's on. Damn, it's in the super chat. That's on my end, y'all. That's Sean. That's
Yeah.
Chantrell. Shout out to you, brother. Hell yeah.
Go ahead and read it.
It says peace and hair grease, brother. That's all it is. Let me give him an air horn. You feel me?
Thank you to everybody for the super chats. Thank you to everybody for calling in. Thank you to Funky. Thank you to Big Timmy. Thank you to Chantrell. Thank you to LA Thorne for calling in. Shout out to Heaven. Shout out to Ken.
So thank you to everyone for your support and love. So guys, this is what the new party is about. For those of you watching for the first time, we represent diverse views. We talk about the hard conversations, political topics, entertainment, family, military. We talk about it all. And sometimes we don't get along, but we're a family here. So we are going to work through it. But nevertheless, guys, we are at a pivotal point in our country. I'm going to pray for America. I guess this is the turning point, right? So to say, that Charlie talked about. But like Charlie said, I got to give it to him. When we stop talking, bad things happen. So God bless. Good night. Oh, we will be back on tomorrow night, ladies' night at 9 p.m. We will be covering the Diddy docuseries. And we will also be talking about the Megan Thee Stallion trial with Milagro, with the blogger. Laid back, super informal, but it'll all be the ladies. If you like the way the ladies look, come back. All the beautiful ladies of the new party will be here. Mia, Kimberly, Heaven, Skeptic will be on the next one. So yeah, make sure you guys also purchase a subscription. Tomorrow live for the first time, we will be making it for everyone, but then it'll be going to member only if you miss out tomorrow at 9. So God bless, good night, and